everybody. Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is... I should have these memorized by now, but...
I got it. Don't worry about it. It's King of Games and Power Wash Extraordinaire.
That's the one that throws me off, the Power Wash Extraordinaire. I'm still learning that one. Adrian, Homeboy Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, my guy? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing good. We're here. We're alive. My allergies
Relatively
haven't killed me yet. My eyes, if you're watching on video, you could probably see my big red poofy eyes from itching them.
I was gonna
so
say
much.
Relatively healthy, but never mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not like a cold or a flu. Like, I'm fine.
Right. That's
But-
fair. That's fair.
Like, I'm not like sick. I'm just miserable.
I feel you.
No.
My nose has been bothering me too, so don't even worry about it.
That's okay. So that's like the one thing I dislike about, I guess it's from the two places I've lived in California. 'Cause I live in Modesto for a while and I live in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have seasons here. You know, it just goes from like hot to cold or from good temperature to just slightly cooler, but still a good temperature now that I'm in San Diego. Like, it doesn't get cold here. You don't have winters here. So what basically that means is just year round, things are blooming. Trees are blooming, plants, like everything blooms at different times. It's not like you have a spring where like everything, all the allergies get out of the way and then you're good. It's like, no, it's like
Year-round allergy.
Yeah, it's like springtime, these plants bloom and drop all their pollen. And then summer, these ones, and then fall and winter. And it's like, it sucks. I hate it. Like, at least when I lived in Wisconsin or New York, it was just done in the spring. And I'd get a little bit in the fall because there were some certain weeds like around fall time that would pop up. But generally, it was like very short in the fall, mainly just springtime. Get it done and over with. It. Good, but yeah, that's all.
I feel like you kind of get used to it though if you've been here your whole life. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, especially because I don't have them as bad now, but when I was a youngin' coming up, I had allergies real bad. Sometimes it used to get so bad, like my eyes would be all red and watering, and my nose was stuffed up. It felt like I was just walking around like this all the time, and it's like, good grief.
I mean, that's basically been me for the last couple of weeks, like until I finally bought some Visine, like the allergy relief stuff, and I need to buy it in the buckets and just dunk my whole head in there.
Put it in a super soaker.
All right, I'm good to go.
You know what? That's what I didn't do this year. I'm upset about it. Speaking of super soakers, have you ever been to the dollar store? You know the tiny little squirt guns you can get for like 4 for $1?
Yeah.
I forgot to buy some this year. I usually do because like my little cousins or kids who come around for family events, I love when it's hot outside to just like have them in your pockets, aka your holsters, and just walk out. Hey, how you doing, youngins? Pow!
Quick draw.
They have no idea it's coming.
Yeah.
It's the best.
That's
Forgot
great.
to do that this year.
I mean, it's California, so it's not like it gets cold. You can still do that in the winter.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so this last Saturday or Sunday, like yesterday when I was recording this, it was like in the 60s here in San Diego. It's like, oh, it's starting to cool off. It's getting the winter. And then friggin' next weekend it's supposed to be like in the 80s. I'm like, what the heck? What is wrong with this place? Just be fall already. It's October. What is wrong with you?
You know what? Back in the day, it used to start raining around this time.
We had
like
rain
late
the other
October
day.
to after Christmas. It was like in and out of raining for multiple days at a time.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's killing me this year. In years past, I've had allergies like on and off throughout the year, but it was never really bad. This year's been worse than previous years, but it's because we keep getting these random rains in San Diego. Because that's what it always used to be. It was like, it rained like...
At least you're getting them.
It rained like 2 days and then that's it. You're good. Like the rest of the year, no rain. Like when we lived in Modesto. Here in San Diego, it was like that the first year, but now this is year 2 of living here. And we got that weird tropical storm, that's hurricane a month or so ago. And then like last week it rained like really hard one day. It rained it's like we just keep every couple weeks we just get a random rain, and so like everything just springs back to life.
Send it up here. We need it up here. It's been like in the 70s and 80s for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, what is going on? It's October.
Don't get me wrong, I love the rain, but it's just goes hand in
I
hand.
love the rain.
Rain's my
man.
favorite. If it just rained all the time, I'd be happy.
I'm
But
good
the
with
problem
that.
is it rains
Rain,
and it gets
gray,
sunny.
foggy.
Yeah.
I would love to live in London, except the food is awful.
Well, I mean,
That's the exact climate in London.
That's why there's Seattle too. Seattle, it's just cloudy,
fair,
rainy.
fair. That's true.
And they have good food there. They have fantastic
Yeah,
food there.
you're
Every
right.
time I go there, I have fantastic food with my friends. So, yeah. Anyways, we should probably talk about some video games today. So, today we're going to be talking about how PlayStation is finally free. $60 mobile games and how a strike may be on the horizon for the video games industry. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, you can join us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 a month gets you episodes early and ad-free for that entire month. It also not just early and ad-free for this show, but you also get access to our Patreon exclusive show, which we finally set a recording date. So look forward to that. Hopefully, I think the plan is to record it Thursday, which means if I get on it and don't drag my feet, it should be edited and out on Friday for you guys. So you'll have August episode. No. Yes, you'll have the August episode on Friday, and then hopefully soon after that you'll have the September episode, and then
start thinking about October.
Then the end, yeah, because that's how it works. That the Super Later Boys comes out at the end of the month, so the October episode, you'll have to wait till the end of the month for that one. But August coming out this week, September soon after that. Again, sorry for the delay. Things were just really difficult with travels and lining up guests and equipment malfunction for people. So,
but we're making it happen.
We're making it happen. I'm excited about this guest. I guess we can announce it. It's not like it's a surprise. And heck, if it gets you to support us on Patreon, that'd be awesome. So the plan right now is to have DJ Trues. That's right, DJ Trues, whose songs you hear right now in the background of this show. He's gonna be joining us. And you know the deal with Super Later Boys. It's not just talking about games. No, we talk about anything and everything. So we're having him on to talk about his music making process and releasing his own music, what that looks like. So if you're curious in that, in any, about that and how that all works, support us at $1. You'll have access to that this Friday. It's the only way to listen to that episode. So think about it. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on in the show. But real quick here, I do want to give a shout out to DJ Trues for allowing us to use his music here in our show. We appreciate you. Links to his music are in the show description on YouTube and podcast apps, so make sure to check that out over on Spotify and Apple Music. Finally, Apple Music. It took him long enough, but he got there. All right.
Had to bully him.
Yeah, I took a little bit of bullying, but we did it. Hey, we can now stream his music on the show, so we had to do what we had to do. All right, it's now time to check the mail. So let's go ahead and boot up the old Super Gamer bot here.
Boop, 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 boop.
There we go. And hi, Super Gamer bot, what's up?
I've got questions, you've got answers. Let's get going.
All right.
Okay. That's
starting to sound like a taskmaster over here.
Yeah, a little. Okay.
You should have never installed that free will chip. You know what I mean?
Extremely, opinionated and just bossy. Really bossy lately. All right. So this first question is from Kajoma01. He asked,
what are your favorite board games?
What are your favorite board games? Adrian, do you have anything for me?
Board games?
Yeah, you a board game man?
I'm more of a card game man than a board game man.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking card games now, I mean, you have to go with Uno. Uno is absolutely number one.
Uno's fantastic.
Uno is like, it's either the most fun game or it's the game that's gonna make people start a fist fight. There's no in between with that game. Let me see. You got one? You got a board game?
For me, okay, hang on, I gotta look up the name real quick. because I just recently learned about this game, and it might be up there with one of my favorites now. I've played variations of it, but yeah, now it's like, yeah, I've never played this version of it. Essentially, I'm like, oh, this game is really good.
Duh. Battleship.
Oh, dude,
Battleship is great.
Top tier.
That's the ultimate, like.
I haven't played that in a long time. I need to get that. I think Shep would love that. My oldest.
You just look somebody in their eyes and you just gotta it's almost like a game of, like, I don't know, being psychic. Like you read them. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you got a ship in this corner just by the way you're looking at me.
Yeah. Pegs and Jokers. Have you ever played that?
What's that?
So think of like Sorry and Trouble, and have you ever played like Parcheesi? Like those three games, that style of game where you have like a home base, a starting base, and you got to get your pieces to the home base. There's a whole board, and then but with Pegs and Jokers, you use decks of cards to move, and each card has different numbers. You let you move different amounts. Some would make you move backwards. Some, you can swap places with people. It was a blast. My buddy, our friends up in Seattle, actually, Sterling and Hannah, who we go visit each and every year, they just introduced it to it the last time we were there. I'm like, this game is so much fun. So that's a fantastic board game. I don't know if you can get that at like Walmart or Target, but they made their own. They like had a big piece of cardboard that they like Sharpie, like drew things out and like made holes and used like thumbtacks as the pegs and stuff.
They were about this.
They were like, they love this game, but it's expensive to buy online if you buy like a wooden set. Usually it's like a wooden fancy set or something like that. But hey, cardboard works. You got the job done.
One last one. I don't know if it counts, but shout out to Operation.
Oh, yeah.
I, to this day, cannot beat my mom at Operation. She is so freaking good at it. I don't know how her hands are so still, dude. Like, it's almost like a superpower. She almost never touches the sides, no matter what piece it is.
Dang, that's
freaking love that game.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's skill. I love that game, but like, I just I'll do like really good the first couple, and then like I hit
then
the
your hands
side
get
once.
tired. Your arms get tired from trying to hold your hand still. Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then you get frustrated, like,
I
was doing so good.
Dude,
I was doing so good.
Play no more.
You're like, what is wrong? Hophead Head is in the chat. What's up, dude?
Hey, yo.
I'm trying to think of another game. I don't know, like board games. I love board games. I just having trouble thinking of some. Okay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. We always called it or pronounced it Carcassonne.
I know the name. I don't know the game.
Basically, it's a box full of map tiles, and you draw one each turn, and you build the map as you go, and you claim cities and roads or fields or whatever. And by completing these cities and roads and fields and whatnot, you gain points, and whoever has the most points at the end win, essentially. But you only have so many little wooden like pieces, like little guys or whatever, and you play different colors. So like you just like most games or whatever. So if you're blue, like, all right, you only have like 8 little blue guys. So you don't want to use too many of them at once, because then if you run out, you have to wait, like, all right, I can't get a guy back until I finish that road to claim another part of the map or whatever like that. So and it's a lot of like, if you build a city, like maybe I start a little city in the in one corner, and my buddy starts a little city in the other corner, and if we join our cities together, well, if we both have only one guy on there, we share the points. At that point, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that wasn't really worth it. But if you're real sneaky and a real jerk about it, maybe I put 2 guys on the city and he only has 1. So once you join it together, you basically steal all his points and you get it for yourself. So it's a lot of like strategy with how you build the map out as you go, because each map tile is completely unique. Like it has like a little sliver of city, a little piece of road, maybe sometimes it has like a 90-degree turn in it, whatever, you don't know. It's just all random as you pick it up face down. It's a lot of fun. I really like that one. That's one that Trudy and I like, and because you can do it 2-player, but then you can have up to like, I think that with the expansion you can have like 6 or
Doesn't it get a little crazy with all those players in it though?
Oh yeah, that's the great thing. It's like the map gets huge and it just gets chaotic, and yeah, you don't score as high, but it's everyone fighting over like, no, I want that. Oh, I wanted that. You know, like it's real cutthroat, real quick. So Carcassonne is good. I like that better than like Catan. Settlers of Catan.
That's one game
Used
that
to
just looks
be-
so friggin' boring to me, dude. I
Okay.
don't know what it is.
The first few times I played it, I'm like, this game is so great, it's awesome. But then like the more you play it, it just gets so frustrating because like trying to trade with people, it just turns into like, basically it's like, all right, who are we gonna screw over?
Give it to me.
Who are we screwing over tonight? Like basically it turns into like 2 or 3 people ganging up on one person. Like that's what it turns into. Because that's the only way to
So
to
Mario
win.
Party.
Yeah, basically. It's just like, all right, who's gonna get screwed tonight? Yeah, so it's like it to me, there's a little bit of strategy, but it gets to a point in the game where it's not about strategy at that point. It's just about, all right, well, are you the one who's everyone's crapping on now or not? Like, and it's just sometimes it naturally happens, sometimes it's a willing choice by the other players to be like, nope, sorry, you're not winning tonight, and it just sucks because there's nothing you can do about it. So Catan is one of those that's like fun at first, but then once you figure out the meta part of it and like what's going on, you're like, oh, this is what this is. This isn't fun anymore. Oh man, there's so many good games. There's lots of, I mean, I could say Warhammer. It's a fantastic board game.
You could, and then I'd also call you a huge nerd, which you are.
Have you seen this dude?
Freaking dork.
Oh man, he's so sick. Look at this guy.
Oh man.
Oh
Wow.
Is gorgeous. Hang on, let me adjust the focus. Yeah. Oh yeah. Check that dude out.
Flimgar. Wow. Third realm son of Ornmin.
Yep.
The Great.
That's it. That's his name. You nailed it.
See? Just call me Mr. Token.
Eddie says Mario Party PTSD intensifies. Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, I mean, we could go on and on this question, but I think you get the gist of it. We like games. There's not a board game. There's very rarely a board game I come across that I don't like, honestly. There's definitely favorites, but I don't think I've ever hated a board game.
No, I don't think I've ever hated one.
Okay.
There's a lot that I think that are boring.
Okay, fair enough. How do you feel about Monopoly? Because to me, like,
it's fun. It just takes forever to get to the good part.
Because to me, like, that's one of those games that when I think about it, I'm like, it's not that fun. But then I start playing it and I start getting like hyper competitive. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah. And then you get to the good part where it's just like everyone's just dealing with like way too much money.
Look,
and
dude,
it's like wheeling and
you only got
dealing.
this. As soon as you land on my space, you're bankrupt. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to sell me some properties so you can have some money so you don't do that. That's the best part.
So good. I haven't played Monopoly in forever. Like it's been like 10 years at this point.
Because you need like 4 hours.
Risk is a good game. Now that's a fantastic game. That game also takes me and my cousins and my brother, we used to like play games of Risk, and it would literally take like 3 days. Like we'd have like sleepover at my cousin's house, and we'd start the first day we get there, and like we'd be there for a couple days, and it would last almost the whole time.
Exactly.
It was just like so crazy, and it always ended up with my one cousin winning. He won every time. It was the
and then you get to a point where one of you be like, dude, do you guys want to do something else? Can we take a break? Come on.
We would take breaks. I think that's why it took that long, because it like we'd play for like 4 hours and then like, all right, let's go play some Medal of Honor on the PlayStation 1, you know. Pull the multi-tap out and play some Medal of Honor 4-player on our PS1 or PS2 or whatever. It's the good old days, you know. All right, let's jump into this next question here. Let's see. This one is from, which one is this from? Oh, you know what? Hophead Ed's here. Let's do Hophead Ed's question.
What are your favorite lines of video game dialogue?
Oh.
Your favorite lines from video games. He actually shares some of his favorites. Let's go ahead and read some of these.
Go ahead.
He has one from Chrono Trigger. But the future refused to change. It's a good one. Especially after playing the game. That is Very good game. Very good quote. Here's another one. Final Fantasy IV, the English localization from our guy Ted Woolsey. The quote is, "You spoony bard." And then from Mass Effect 2, I'm Commander Shepard. This is my favorite store on the Citadel.
On the
What is that? An actual line from the game?
yes.
What the heck?
It's from a mission
Okay.
where they ask you to like endorse a shop on the Citadel. Because you know you're a Spectre, you got a lot of clout, so if people see, oh, a Spectre shop's here. You don't have to do it, of course, like any Mass Effect quest, but yeah, that was a fun little thing. I thought he was gonna say, "Have you seen the Reapers? I'm looking for the Reapers," because that is a quote that you hear a million times throughout those games.
Okay. Jeez. Never.
I got one. If
okay.
you don't got one to start,
Go ahead.
and this one is actually a favorite of old Hophead Ed, and that's from none other than the great Kingdom Hearts, and it goes, "Mickey, it's Riku. They put bugs in him."
What?
It makes sense in the context of the series. Okay, it's from a side game that deals with computer viruses and data and all that jazz. Okay, if you play Kingdom Hearts, you know what I'm talking about.
It's Riku. They put bugs in him.
I'm
Oh,
telling you,
no.
if you look in the chat, if Eddie's still here,
He
he'll
does.
tell you exactly what I'm talking about.
He says yes. They put bugs in him.
See?
Oh, man. That's great. One of these
You
days
got one?
I'll play. One of these days I'll play through Kingdom Hearts.
You already did one.
I did one. I just have 15 more to go.
Hey,
Okay, so I have from one. I believe this was Metal Gear Solid.
IND.
Of course, yeah. IND. What's a Russian gunship doing here? No, a strong man doesn't need to read the future. He makes his own.
Ooh.
I love that. The fight against Psycho Mantis, because that's his whole thing. Is like being able to see the future and stuff. And Snake, while Psycho Mantis is laying on the floor half dead, monologuing, Snake finally pipes up at the end, says that strong man doesn't need to read the future. He makes his own. I'm like, wow, you're so cool, dude.
You're the greatest.
You're the greatest. Oh man, so that's a good one. Another one. I have one more real quick. I mean, I have a couple, but I'll just read one more and then let you go again. Andrew Ryan from BioShock.
Ooh,
a man
classic.
chooses, a slave
A
obeys.
slave obeys.
So,
You're not gonna do all the versions of it. What about this one? A man chooses.
Yeah.
With his jaw hanging off. A slave obeys.
Such like an insane part of the game because you're just finding out like the whole twist of the game, and then you just like beat him to death with a golf club while he's screaming this at you. It's like, oh my gosh, so crazy. Such a good game. If you haven't played BioShock, what the heck are you doing with your life? You gotta
missing out. One of the all-time greats.
Holds up pretty good. I mean, control wise, it's funny, but story wise, it's one of the best. One of the best. Do you have another?
I got one more.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily dialogue because they don't actually talk, but in Undertale, near the end of the game when you're getting ready to head to I don't want to say what because I want people to experience it. But you look in a mirror in your house after like you've gone through the majority of the game, and when you interact with the mirror, it says, "Despite everything, it's still you." And I thought that was like such an awesome quote because it's like everything you've been through, all the things that have changed you, the things that came before, the things that happen now, and the things that will happen. None of that. I mean, yes, all that happened to you, and you know, so many things could have happened because of those things, but despite everything, you are still the same you. You overcame it. You conquered it.
Yep.
You know, I thought that was an awesome line of dialogue.
Yeah. There's a lot of just really cool story moments and quotes like that in Undertale throughout it. For like as goofy and silly and off the walls, like things can get at times or how crazy or whatever. It's like these little moments where it just like really like makes like certain moment like all of a sudden it's like haha silly crazy, and then it's like, oh, this is serious, and like really brings it down to earth, and like either it makes like a really emotional point or a really like or just a really serious moment all of a sudden between characters. I don't know, they just did such a good job with like, oh ha, lighthearted, goofy, papyrus, whatever, saying,
and suddenly it's
like,
endearing,
and then it's like, oh shoot, like that's got what they just said, just has some weight to it. Like that's not just a throwaway quote or whatever. So good. Let me see here. I do have one last one. It's another Solid Snake one, of course. Metal Gear, so good, dude. People need to play this game. Metal Gear Solid 4. Meryl says something about him being a hero or something like that. And his response is, "I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be." I don't know. I just love like I don't know. In his, I mean, he always has it, but it's still there in his quote unquote old age. Like this humility. Like through all the games, everyone was always like kind of like, "Oh, you're a hero." I mean, even in the first game, Meryl says that, like something about him being a hero. And he just always is like, no. Yeah, the fourth one, he's like, "I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be." And that's because like he's done some terrible, horrible things. Or because another quote is like it's hard, I forget the exact quote, but it's something like, it's hard to see a sin on the battlefield or something like that, something along those lines. But basically like on the battlefield, like you do whatever you gotta do to survive. And it's like such like the whole Metal Gear saga.
Talking about the war has changed
from no
4?
No, in Metal Gear Solid 1, he says he says that, like, since it's hard to see a sin on the battlefield or whatever, because the whole series is like anti-war, very much even though it's about like fighting and war and stuff, but it's very obviously like an anti-war, anti-nuclear like weapons like game. And so like so much Solid Snakes is like always like shutting stuff down, and yeah, I don't know. Very good. I just love it. It's just in the moment too. Like, it's just not like Snake can come across like such like a hardened, like sterile character on surface level, but then like there's those moments where it's like you see his heart come through, and like, yes, you see that humility. You see that like he does things because he really cares. He's not looking to be a hero. He doesn't want to be. He's like, no, I do this because it's my duty to make sure like the world survives, kind of thing. It's like, man, so cool. All right, do you have any other quotes, or do you want to move on to this last question?
It's not necessarily dialogue. It's not spoken dialogue. It's kind of a cheat. But shout out to my favorite Supergiant Games game, Transistor. It has a dedicated button. The main character, Red, is a songstress, and at any time you can press and hold that button and she will hum along and sing along to whatever song is playing in the soundtrack. And she has a gorgeous voice.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so let's get on with this last question here from Sir Prince-a-lot.
Got a little bit of a drawl on that, huh?
A little bit.
MCU recast part 4. Who should be Spider-Man and Thor?
All right, coming in with the recast again. These ones are always hard, especially if we're not prepared, which I'm not super prepared.
I'm going to tell you right now, Spider-Man, we don't need one. Tom Holland is the recast, and he's perfect. All right?
Yeah, that's true.
Done.
That's true. What I was going to say, too, the only thing that popped in my head is, like, I really liked Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, honestly. Like, bring him back. Just recast him.
Wasn't bad. Just bad movies.
They weren't that bad. They weren't that bad.
2 was. 1 was okay. Amazing Spider-Man 1 was okay. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was rough.
I think if we watched it back, they wouldn't be bad. I haven't watched them in a long time. Maybe they would be that bad.
Oh,
I don't know.
I got one.
Okay.
For Thor, what is old buddy's name? You remember that biker show from a while back?
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, the main dude from that. The one everybody like. You know who I'm talking about? Like he was built like Chris Hemsworth.
I never watched it, but maybe
Because they had commercials on for it every 5 minutes. It seemed like
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, I think that's him.
He plays Jax.
He's got a beard.
I don't know. I just the picture that they have here is him with a
Oh.
trimmed beard. He has a
Well,
beard.
in the show
that's,
they
like,
always
trimmed,
showed
but
him like, pretty beefed up,
This could be it. Yeah, this is.
and he kind of looks like a Viking-ish. I think he could be a good Thor stand-in.
There, I'll send it to you in Discord. Is this who you're talking about? I don't know. I
Uh,
never watched the show. I heard great things
me
about
either.
the show.
I just know of him because of the commercials.
I'm just
and
thinking.
Twitter.
I'm just thinking age-wise, this Charlie Hunnam would probably be the best. Everyone else looks kind of older.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I could totally see him playing Thor. I'm down with that. That sounds good. Also, Sons of Anarchy. Have you
seen
never,
it?
you've never watched it?
Nope.
No. Yeah, me neither. I've always heard great things. Never checked it out. Should go check that out.
It's probably better than what's that game?
Oh,
The one that just-
yeah. On which what's the name of that game?
Days Gone.
Days
oh
Gone.
My God. It's killing me.
When my parents were visiting a few weeks ago, my dad's played through it, and he's like, "It's not a bad game. Like, now that all the bugs are fixed, now all the bugs are fixed."
Now.
He was like, he was playing it. He's like, I didn't have any issues as far as he could remember. Like everything played and worked great.
Oh, that's nice, but
and
the
he's-
story's probably still bad.
Yeah, it could be
So-
bad. I guess it could be bad. I think I remember him saying the story was fine. Like it was nothing to write home about, but it wasn't like terrible either. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe one day I'll give it a shot. We'll see. Probably.
I mean,
not, but
it's on PS Plus. It can't get any freer than that.
yeah.
actually,
well, except for my
it's
PlayStation
called-
Plus ends at the end of October here, so
Oh well, I was gonna say it actually is gonna cost you the most expensive currency, your time.
yeah, right.
Just like that Gotham Knights game, I think it just came to Game Pass. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's free, but it's gonna cost time, and I don't know.
All right. Well, that's it for the questions this week. Thank you all so much for writing in. Remember, leave your questions over at supergamerboys.com/discord. You can join us over there. Drop it off at the mailbag channel that we have. Or if you don't have a Discord, you can just send it to us on social media as well. That's totally fine to do. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Send in your questions. We'd love to answer them here for you. Otherwise, we might have to let Super Gamerbot loose on you. Maybe we, take the leash off and see what happens when AI is just left to run rampant on the internet.
No, let's not do that.
Last week I advocated for nuclear war. This week I advocate for the AI takeover, I'm just on a tear. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
All right. There we go. Transition is working. And now we are going to talk about this news story. The first news story here coming from The Verge, written by Emma Roth and Ash Parrish. PlayStation leader Jim Ryan to retire after 28 years with Sony.
Yeah, baby! Woo! Yeah, let's go!
Oh no. Jim
Yeah,
Ryan.
boy!
Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, stepping down. In a press release on Wednesday, Sony announced that Ryan will retire in March of 2024, while Sony Group Corporation President and Chief Operating Officer Hiroki Totoki will take on the interim CEO role starting April 1st, 2024. After 30 years, I've made the decision to retire from Sony Interactive Entertainment in March 2024. I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love and a very special company working with great people and incredible partners, Ryan says in a statement. But I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. PlayStation will always be a part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than ever about the future of SIE. Ryan has worked at Sony for 28 years, starting his career at the company's European branch in 1994, where he's held several leadership positions, including the head of global sales and marketing. And in 2019, Ryan replaced John Codera as the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. During his time at Sony, Ryan most notably oversaw the launch of the PS5. While supply chain constraints made the console hard to find during and after the COVID pandemic, shipments managed to bounce back. And in July, Sony announced that it had sold 40 million PS5s. There's more here about some of his involvement with the Microsoft FTC stuff. But Totoki will become the chairman of SIE in October 2023, ahead of Ryan's departure. Once appointed interim CEO, Sony says Totoki will work closely with Sony Group Corporation chairman and CEO Kenichiro Yoshida and the management team of SIE to help define the next chapter of PlayStation's future, including the succession of the SIE CEO role. So at this point, they don't necessarily have a permanent successor lined up for him, but we all know who it needs to be, though, right?
Oh yeah, Shuhei. If he wants to do it. If not, let him stay in his indie lane. I'm fine with that.
Has to be Shuhei. Come on, it has to be. Imagine the
who else has
renaissance that Sony would have with Shuhei behind the wheel. Be like just like in the PS2 days, it'd just be like tearing down
banger after banger after banger.
Be unstoppable.
What? Go ahead. Sorry.
you get all excited over there. Yeah, you're pretty happy about him leaving, and I we talked about this before the show.
I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. I said, woo! Was that good enough?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it before the show. Like I'm conflicted because I am happy. I am happy he's stepping down because I've not been super happy about a lot of things he's implemented in his years there since because it was Sean Layden before, right?
Yeah, who was doing a banger job.
He's doing fantastic job.
Awesome.
And so on one hand, I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like, let's get someone in there who actually cares about PlayStation. But on the other hand, like, I guess it's just difficult to be like, yeah, get him out of there. Yeah, he sucks. Like, I don't know. You just see a lot of like terrible stuff on Twitter and stuff.
Wait. Let's hold on, because you know the weirdos are gonna come out in force. Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Jim Ryan. Are you watching, people? Jim Ryan is not a bad person. Okay? Jim Ryan is not a bad businessman. Jim Ryan is there like any businessman should be for the betterment of the company. He is beholden to the shareholders. I understand. However, in pursuit of that, he ended up leaving the end user out in the cold because he didn't really understand what they were looking for. That's why I'm hype about it.
Yeah.
Because now we can get somebody in there who has a mixture of, oh yeah, I understand I'm a business. We got to make this, we got to make sure everything is profitable. But at the same time, I understand what the market is looking for, not just in sales, but like trends or ideologies or things of that nature. So I want to make sure that we get that on paper, before the weirdos come in here and say, oh, you guys just like to see PlayStation take a hit because you want Xbox to win. No, that's not it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. Yeah, and he wasn't a bad businessman. Like, he did his job extremely well, but I think you hit the nail on the head where it's like he was just essentially on the wrong team is what it felt like. He very much was like about making PlayStation bigger and better, but didn't necessarily care about what we wanted as PlayStation users, as when we were like the doubling down on PSVR, doing PSVR 2 when the first PlayStation VR didn't sell or do well. Like, why double down on something that was not successful
and not have it support your already PSVR 1 purchase games?
Yeah.
Huh?
Also with the
random price hikes
out of nowhere happening recently. I mean, the PlayStation Portal happening. Like, what the heck is that? That should have been a PSVR 2 or something, or something like an actual portable handheld device, not a straight. Like, there's this and granted, he's not the only one making these decisions, but he would have had his hands on a lot of those.
If you're the leader, though, you got to take the lumps. That's how it works.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of business decisions where it's like, what was going on? Or even
the disdain for the back catalog.
Just like a month ago or a few weeks ago, wasn't there some statement he came out and said that basically like AAA like adventure games kind of is going to be like that's going to be our focus. That's our bread and butter from here on out. Basically, like
mixed in with those 15,000 live service games they want to do.
Yeah, they're live service games, and then like just games like Uncharted and
the company that's known for their cinematic first or third person games. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna completely switch our model up, cold turkey, and hope it works.
Yeah. So it's this very weird like statements more recently, really. Like, it's always been not great, but in the last like 6 months, I feel like there's been a lot of chaos right before he's on his way out. It's almost like he wanted to like get it all in and like get the ball rolling and then be like, all right, I'm out. Your guys' problem now. I don't know.
I can pinpoint when it was. It was when that article came out that he was playing a demo, or not a demo, like a gameplay of what was it, Gran Turismo 2. And he was like, why would anybody want to play these old games? I was like, well, you clearly don't understand what part of the market is going for, sir. That's when I knew it was on site. It was like, nope, this ain't the guy. Put him back.
Gran Turismo is an amazing game. That's why.
I know. I play it every day.
Get out of here.
I do. I go outside. I get in my car, and it's Gran Turismo. 0 loading time, which is crazy. Nature's SSD.
Nature's my SSD. So yeah, he's on his way out, and I hope we have someone. If we don't get Shuhei, I hope it's someone who's as passionate as Shuhei is about like the games and the people and the community and stuff like that. Or
as well as the business.
If Sean Layden's real bored and wants to come out of retirement, bring him back, dude. I don't know if he's just
he wants to. I'd welcome.
It's been a few years. I'm done. I've done all the fishing I can do for the rest of my life.
You know what though? He probably won't, because he's probably still salty that they did end up picking Jim over him. Yeah. Because I feel like he thought that he was primed for that position, and they ended up going with Jim Ryan over him. That's the whole reason he left, I believe. So I could totally understand him being like, "What? No, you blew me off. I'm good."
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Because Sean Layden wasn't technically CEO of PlayStation. He was just head of
studios.
The studios, which is what Herman Hulst is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. How do you feel about like Herman Hulst jumping?
Please, God, no, don't.
No, okay,
Hulst, right. He's in Ryan's pocket. They're boys.
That's true.
He's just gonna run it the same exact way.
Basically the same person. That's true.
Granted, Hulst might be a little more knowledgeable towards the game because he was head of Guerrilla.
He's actually had boots on the ground with studios where Ryan, like what? Ryan previously
was
worked
all
with
numbers. I mean, he was at PlayStation when everything launched, but he wasn't playing them games. Come on now.
He was head of sales.
He was
and
busy
marketing.
making sure everything sold. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was in charge of getting things sold, but wasn't necessarily like part of the process of like making the games. Which again, like comes down to
it was
like
a product.
As a product, not like he wasn't there for the creation process, which is kind of like the heart of what PlayStation is. He never to me came across as a gamer. Like, he never felt like a gamer. Like, whenever he spoke or did anything, I was like, I feel like he says he plays things, but it almost feels like like the hello fellow.
He sounds like
fellow gamers.
He sounds like somebody who strictly wants to sell me something.
He sounds like a cop.
Right, and not somebody who's excited to tell me how cool something is and why I should buy it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully, they
Like
get
Mark
something in
Cerny,
there
I
good.
could definitely tell he was excited to tell us about how PS5 worked. That was his
Dude,
bag.
what's a Mark Cerny doing? Get him up
No.
there. I don't, no?
No.
Okay, he's too technical minded.
Let him stay in the lab. Let him
Okay,
stay in the lab.
okay.
Let him cook up that heat. He's fine down there.
All right.
Leave him alone.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but it'll be interesting. I hope it's someone who's a little more, just community focused, like we already said, because that's been PlayStation's downfall for the last couple years, really. A couple years. That's not what I meant to say. The
Lack of communication.
last couple generations, like the tail end of the PS4 generation, and then coming to PS5, it's like, what is going on over there? Like, it's definitely not power to the players, like, wasn't that was like the old slogan?
That was PS4, I think.
At the beginning of PS4, and then towards the end, it's I don't even remember. I don't even know what it is now, but it was always power to players, and then
Didn't they change it for 5?
yeah, I don't remember what it is though.
I keep thinking Power Your Dreams, but that's Xbox.
Let's see. PS5 slogan. Play has no limits.
That's it.
It's so stupid.
Play has no limits unless you have a PSVR 1.
Yeah, then you're very limited because it's no longer supported. Sorry. Or play has no limits except for the PlayStation Portal that you can only play on your couch at home.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
I love how we were both at the same time, like totally at the same thought. Oh no! Come on, PlayStation. All right, let's move on to this next news story here. The iPhone 15 Pro users will pay full console price for Resident Evil 4 Remake. This comes from Jess Weatherbed over at The Verge. If you're looking to grab the recently announced iPhone 15 Pro version of the Resident Evil 4 Remake, you'll be paying full console game prices, according to information nestled away in the Resident Evil 4 App Store listing. The game will cost $59.99 when it's released later this year, the same launch price as its PS5 and Xbox Series S and X debut in March. An extra DLC pack is available for $19.99 alongside additional in-app purchases for weapon upgrades that range between $2.99 and $9.99. Capcom hasn't announced a full release date for the game yet. The App Store date of December 31st is a placeholder, but pre-orders are currently live and it's expected to launch before the end of 2023. Resident Evil Village, a slightly older title in the franchise, will also arrive on iPhone 15 Pro and M1 powered iPads or higher on October 30th for $39.99. That seems wild to pay more for like a remake. I mean, I know it's the newer game, but it's a remake of an old game. To pay more for that than like the new full game. I don't know. Never mind. Then maybe it's stupid. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, it seems weird.
I mean, RE4
eight's only $40, but
RE4 is the most recent title in the line right now. And it is a ground up remake. It's not like it's a remaster.
That's
so
true.
It does warrant that price.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4 price may seem steep here, but only when compared to traditional mobile games or free-to-play ports. Instead, Apple is pushing that the iPhone 15 Pro is capable of running a console game at console-level performance. So paying console prices doesn't feel wholly unreasonable if it actually lives up to its expectations. Some limited content from the base game will be playable for free for those who want to test the performance before committing to a purchase. The Resident Evil 4 Remake will also support universal purchase, which allows customers who buy it for either the 15 Pro or an iPad or MacBook equipped with an M1 chip to play it across all 3 devices without needing to repurchase the game.
That's what I was confused about. I didn't know if that was going to be a thing.
Awesome.
Yes,
so
perfect.
You can play it on your phone on the go. You get home and you can open up your MacBook, play on there. You're laying in bed, you play on your iPad. Like, that's pretty slick.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, and this isn't the only game coming either. This is from another article on The Verge, but they mentioned that so Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding. I know Assassin's Creed Mirage has also been rumored or maybe announced. I don't know. It's not in this article, but there's quite a few like big games coming to the iPhone 15, which is crazy. But what are your thoughts on this $60 price point?
I think so. I feel like if it is the same game with the same feature set, and it's like I said, start to finish, it has all the same things as the original regular console release, and it runs competently. Like they said, console levels, like granted they said it's going to have ray tracing, but I honestly maybe would park it maybe somewhere next to a Series S, I would say, as far as performance goes. If it can hit those marks, I think it's absolutely worth the price, as long as it's the same price across the board. So if it's still 60 on PS5, Xbox Series, PC, yeah, put it for 60 there. It's the same exact game. I can just hook a DualSense up, plug the phone to a TV or a monitor, and I got the same game running on my phone.
Yeah.
I see no problem with it.
I agree with you. I mean, at first it's definitely shocking, don't get me wrong, but it's because, like the article says, like we're so used to seeing like a $5
free to
game
play,
or a free to play.
$4, yeah.
And so to suddenly be like $60 for my phone, like what the heck? But yeah, when you think about it, like this is a full console release. This isn't just excuse me, this isn't just this isn't a dumbed down version. Like this is the same game, and supposedly like on par graphics with using the Metal Effects engine and whatever, I forget the name of the chip that's in the 15 Pro, like working alongside their effects engine. Apparently you can get 4K HDR on like a display on a TV. So if you use like an adapter, USB-C from your phone to HDMI into your TV, apparently you'll be able to output from your iPhone 15 Pro 4K HDR. It doesn't say FPS.
It's probably going to be upsampled.
Yeah, I assume it's going to be around probably like 30 FPS if I had to guess. For most games, maybe it'll hit 60 once in a while.
But still, for a phone, that's wild.
That's wild. So knowing that, it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, like $60, that makes sense. Like if it's the same game as my PS5, why not? Why not?
Well, the thing that also pushes it over for me, as somebody who is very deeply entrenched into the Apple ecosystem, to know that it goes back and forth between my phone, my Mac, and iPad.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the next Apple TV, I wouldn't be surprised if it has this same kind of processor.
Yeah,
so that it can do that and play those games.
Totally.
And if I can go back and forth between all of these, I get it. That honestly is more enticing for me to buy it there. If this was the only option though, because Switch 2 is coming, so we'll see how that goes. But it's definitely something that would make me think about, should I get it on my phone? Because I always have my phone with me. I carry my laptop whenever I go traveling, so
yeah,
it's a toss up.
Yeah, no, the ability to have it everywhere is huge. And yeah, like you said, like if they beef up the Apple TV, holy smokes, like there's your home. It's a
console essentially.
There's your home console. You got your phone for the mobile console. You got your iPad for the everything in between, and laptop, same thing. So it's like you have home, you got mobile, you got everything in between covered. Like that's crazy. Like that would be amazing. One buy, have it everywhere. Obviously only time will tell how well it acts. Like I'll be interested to see the Digital Foundry test and be like, all right, let's see what they find on this thing, because it's one thing to claim it and another thing to actually do it. But
I mean, they did show footage. Like I said, for me personally, it's just got to do 1080/30. 1080/30 on a phone would be absolutely insane.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's just the only reason 4K would be nice is for like the external display.
Right.
But I think I was reading somewhere, I can't remember if it was this article or another article. I thought on the phone, it locks at it is locked at a lower resolution. So that way you get a higher frame rate, but I can't remember what the resolution was or where that article.
Because there's no active cooling, so you have to be able to have it run under load for a while. So that totally tracks. But I'm just saying, even as long as it runs competently, the fact that it's running on a phone, I definitely give it a pass for that. And it's insanely, it feels like, remember when we got the Switch the first time and you run Breath of the Wild and you're like, I cannot believe that this is running on a mobile console. It's a full fat game. We're getting that all over again with the new iPhone, and Apple product suite, and I think that is really cool because technology, it never stops. It always, seems to double every year, and now we're seeing the fruits of that, and it's only going to get better from here, right? because
Yeah.
the chips are only going to get stronger, faster every year. So eventually, we could see these consoles, these phones and Macs and iPads competing with these consoles like head to head. So
Yeah. And one thing too, like the displays on Apple products are so incredible. I don't think they're like they're not OLED, but they always have like
The iPad is.
Is it okay? I didn't know that. But either way, like the phones, the computers, like with the Retina displays or whatever they're using, like it's always just the colors are always spectacular. The blacks are always spectacular. Like the resolution is always incredible. The refresh rates, especially on the Pro devices, are like extremely high. So it's like it makes all the the components of the phone. It makes sense to make it a gaming machine. It just needed the guts, and now they're giving it the guts, which is exciting. So what I found, I did find an article on The Verge that talked about it. Apparently, there's a YouTuber, Vincent Zong, who got to play Village on the 15 Pro with a mobile game controller, and he uploaded a video about it. I don't know if it's I don't know how he got a hold of it because no one else
drop that link. I want to see it.
But it says, according to his comments, it says, I don't think it'll be a 1-to-1 match. According to the caption in Zhang's video, the game's resolution seems to be locked at 1560 by 720, and its frame rate is currently locked at 30 FPS. Zhang says the experience has its flaws. The screen mirroring effect is definitely not as good as on the phone. Definitely not as good as the original effect on the game console. So
you
it's
don't
like,
say.
So, which, I mean, that makes sense. It's not going to be as good as a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see what it's like. My 15 Pro comes in the mail tomorrow, so I'm excited.
I'm so jealous, man.
It's funny in the Discord too. Someone was like, "Oh, are you gonna buy Resident Evil 4 remake?" I'm like, "Heck no! Death Stranding's coming out. I gotta buy Death Stranding for the 6th time." I've bought it twice for PS4, twice for PS5, or once for PS5. I got it on Steam.
You need it around you at all
I got
times.
it.
I get it.
Every device it's available on, I've purchased it. So I need to. It's at this point. It's almost. I would feel guilty if I did. Like I have to. It's in my DNA. It's in my blood.
Obligation.
An obligation for me to purchase Death Stranding everywhere it's available. So as soon as it's out on phone and iPad, I will purchase that. And let me tell you, I'm not ashamed to stream that. I will 100% stream Death Stranding from my iPhone.
You could. You very well could.
I could.
That's crazy.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, very interesting. All right, let's move on then to this last news story. This comes from Claire Lewis over at GameSpot. SAG-AFTRA's talks with the video games industry ends with no resolution. SAG-AFTRA announced on Thursday that its scheduled talks with various gaming industry employers ended quickly and without an agreement being formed. The meetings, which began on Tuesday, were undertaken with the goal of renegotiating the terms of the current interactive media agreement, specifically as it relates to pay, streaming rights, and use of artificial intelligence. After failing to reach an agreement, the following statement was posted to the union's website. SAG-AFTRA and video game employers concluded scheduled negotiations for the interactive media agreement. No deal was reached, and the current agreement will remain in effect while the parties make final efforts to reach a deal. SAG-AFTRA recently voted to authorize a strike against 10 major gaming industry juggernauts, with 98.32% of the union's 160,000 plus members voting in favor of the strike. If the aforementioned final efforts to reach a deal fail, a strike is almost certain to come next, impacting the following entertainment companies: Activision Productions, Blindlight, Disney Character Voices, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB Games. The news comes on the heels of the announcement that the Writers Guild of America strike has ended, with union members reaching a tentative agreement with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers after a 148-day strike. The WGA will soon vote to ratify the agreement. SAG-AFTRA's previous strike against gaming companies, which took place from 2016 to 2017, lasted 183 days. I don't remember that. That's a long time. Holy cow. As a result of that strike, certain games such as Life is Strange Before the Storm made use of non-union actors. And in that particular case, original Chloe actor Ashley Birch was only permitted to consult on the character rather than portray her game. So yeah, this is big news right now. This actually just came out today, if I remember, or I guess this article's from the 29th. So I take that back. It's not from today.
Day
From
and a
this,
half.
it's from over the weekend, basically.
Right.
Kind of came out that yeah, last week there was some talks. The vote had already gone through for a strike, and talks had started, and then yeah, these companies were just like,
Fell through.
nah, we're not gonna budge. So
It's unfortunate to hear, right? Like,
yeah,
you would think on the heels of all these strikes that have been going on, and now that we're seeing the successful fruits of them, that game companies will be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get out in front of it, and we'll just, meet with them and come to a conclusion, and we can get everything going and keep it pushing. Nope. They would rather stretch this out just like they always, not like they always, but like every other, major entity is when they're going into the negotiations with the little guy. And it's kind of disheartening to see. Like, you would think that the upper management or, the top brass at these companies would understand the condition. I mean, they do understand the conditions, and that's probably why, right? They know that people need these jobs, and
yeah.
they think that they can just push them around and do whatever they want. But I feel like they're about to find out that that's not the case. The one that shocks me the most out of the list of the companies that are involved in this is Insomniac. I really thought Insomniac was like a company that was really known for taking care of their employees, and the fact that they were on the board of people, in the group of people that were like, no, we're not gonna, get you the honor the agreements that you're putting on the table.
Yeah.
That was really disappointing. And I mean, if it comes down to it, if they start striking, I have no problem, skipping over Spider-Man 2 until something gets figured out. I got decades worth of backlog to get through,
Yeah, right.
before I even were to start thinking about Spider-Man. So
yeah,
hopefully before then we can reach some kind of agreement. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna agree with you. Yeah, it is surprising because a lot of these are just third-party developers, or companies that work with others. Like Formosa Interactive, I looked up, and they've worked with everyone. Like they do art and audio design stuff, like concept stuff and art and audio stuff for companies. So they worked on God of War and Last of Us Part 2, but then they also worked on like Ori and the Will of the Wisp and Borderlands 3, Call of Duty. So it's like most of these are third-party companies, and then like seeing Insomniac is like, no way, like really? Like I don't know, it's so sad because it's like you would hope that in general like first-party studios would be better. Maybe not 100% dialed in, but better than some of these other companies. But to see Insomniac next to Activision, which we already know Activision Blizzard is a mess. Like
I wasn't even thinking about
that's kind of like an of course they're on that list. But yeah, to see Insomniac, it's like, whoa, really? Like, what is going on? Like, what's the deal with that? It doesn't make sense. Like EA, it's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, they Epic, yeah. WB Games, okay, but yeah.
Especially because a lot of the demands aren't crazy at all. Like having medics on set for stunt workers. How do you not already have that? What are you talking about? That
seems like a pretty.
So if I break my arm, I got to get up. I got to drive all the way to the hospital. Hope I don't pass out or go into shock because of the pain. What?
That's is there a list somewhere of the demands?
Of the demands. I forgot where I read it at. I can try to pull it up if you want to give your thoughts on the situation.
I mean, we don't need to go too deep in it here on the. Either way, my opinions is the same. Where obviously we're going to stand with. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I stand with the workers, obviously, and I mean, you already said the same. Like, they need to have good working conditions, safe working conditions, and be paid appropriately because. Like especially, well, I'm like in the Verge article, I mentioned the even like use of AI and stuff like that, like taking their jobs essentially. That's no good. Like, I mean, AI can have its places, but what I've learned in the industry that I'm in, it's a great tool. um, in
any industry.
industry, but it's like a tool still needs, someone to use it. There still needs to be like a worker who knows how to use that tool, and it's to think that a hammer can just go build a house on its own kind of thing, like that's not going to happen. So it's sad against, like you said, right off the heels of this other strike that's gone down with writers and actors and stuff. You'd think they'd be like, all right, like let's just get this done and over with, because I'm sure that had a huge effect on movie studios not being able to work on their films for months. What's that, like 4 months or whatever? And to think that all of a sudden it's like this could be happening with the video game industry now, where it goes 4 or 5 months, or like everything's just put on hold, like doesn't sound ideal. Like in my head, it's like, why wouldn't you be like, yeah, let's give you guys better working conditions? Like you're still going to make millions. You're still going to make millions of dollars off your game,
Yeah, but they won't make millions and millions. You know what I mean? I found it here. Some of the demands, or basically the summary of the demands, is an immediate 11% raise, with 4% raises during the length of the contract, which I'm assuming is probably over like a couple of years. And then medical staff on site for mocap performers and stunt workers, and protections against the use of artificial intelligence technology. So no using it for voice actors, no using it to replace mocap. You can use it to enhance mocap, but not to replace it.
Right.
That an actor could have done.
Right. So this is more, it seems to be,
basics.
So thanks for that clarification, because now I'm realizing, so this is more even like focused just on the actors themselves, not necessarily even developers and stuff like that, which, I mean, still,
it's crazy, because I think developers should be right behind them.
Developers should be 100% right there, right behind them. But yeah, I don't know. Well, hopefully, I hope they can get this resolved sooner than later, because again, like these people deserve more. That's for sure. Like some of these, to think that, because I know like there's a general misconception that there is like people who voice act or do acting like mocap for games and stuff like this. No, they're not the same as Hollywood actors. Like they're not on the same levels, but the talent, like there's just as much, just as much, if not more, just as much, if not more in some cases, with like the things like, oh yeah, you don't just act out a scene once, like now you have to go act out a scene a bajillion times for mocap. First you do the voice, and you got to go on and act it. It's like, holy cow, like it's hard work, it's
stepping into a voice acting booth or voiceover booth for multiple hours throughout a day, doing the same take over and over, and you have to be at 100 every time you do it, no matter what the line is.
Yeah, and just even being able to, because I noticed like getting paid to streaming rights, because a lot of games are streaming now. How does that work? Like, do they count those numbers up? So yeah, that's kind of an interesting even thing that they're trying to like figure out now with this, with this contract. Like, hey, like now the games are being streamed and are on Game Pass and stuff like that. I'm sure it's like, are we getting paid per download then, per stream? Like, how does that look? And like
Unity's doing it.
Yeah, Unity's taking the developers' money that way. Why can't we get money that way? So hopefully this is they can work this out speedily. It's not too drawn out, because video games are cool, and I just want people to keep making cool video games, but I also want them to be paid appropriately and treated appropriately, fairly.
Be able to live.
So, not have to worry about, getting injured on set and then not having a doctor on set. Like, that sounds wild.
I always thought that was a thing. That's crazy to me that it's not a thing. I
know, that seems like a no-brainer, but all right. Oh, man.
You're asking these people to do stunts. What are you talking about?
Yeah, imagine the people. I just imagine like, fighting game stunt people, doing mocap for that. It's like, granted, they're not actually like kicking and punching each other, but I'm sure
turn the wrong way, land on something. Yeah,
accidents happen. Someone lands and like after a flip and sprains an ankle. It's like, well, all right, what do you do? Oh man. Hophead says, can we use AI to fill in for JJ? Yeah, we can do that because we're not part of SAG-AFTRA, so we can completely replace them. It's totally fine.
You know what I did see in iPhones, you can make that voice assistant thing like you were saying.
I did it.
You did? Maybe we can somehow get JJ to do it.
He needs to get an iPhone first.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he's living in 2012.
He won't get one. He loves his Motorola whatever knockoff Android thing he's been running.
His phone he got for about $50 at Walmart.
It's like, dude, come on, get an iPhone. He refuses. He's like, I like it. I'm like, no, you don't. No one says they
like Stockholm syndrome. You're used to it. That's what it is.
Oh man. All right. Well, I believe that is it for the nerdy nudes. So now that means it is time for our Patreon ad. This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right. $1, you get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, and our Patreon exclusive show, Super Later Boys, which, as we said at the top of the show, we have the August episode scheduled for recording this Thursday. DJ Trues is in the house, and he's going to be sharing with us his music journey, how his musical process works with making music, how, what it's like producing and putting his own albums up for people to listen to. So we just want to kind of get the behind the scenes. Like, how does it work? So DJ True is going to be joining us. So look forward to that episode, hopefully coming out the next day on Friday if I get it all edited on Thursday. And then the September episode, TBA, stay tuned for that. So $1 a month, you get not only this show early and ad-free, but that exclusive show. So be sure to check it out there. $5 a month, you get the show notes early, so you know exactly what we're going to be talking about. You can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, comments, whatever, on the show notes, and we will read them off here on the air. And so if you want to hear your voice heard, think about supporting us at the $5 level. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor. You get to shout out at the top of each and every episode, where we say, this episode is brought to you by these Super Gamer sponsors. So if you want to be awesome, just like those folks, getting their names shouted out each and every episode, $10 a month, you get that and all those previous perks. And then there's the top dog tier. If you want to be the big boss of Super Gamer Boys, and be on the shows, be part of the shows, be part of planning shows. If you have any ideas, they're like, hey, this would be cool. If you want that quick access to us, I guess, think about supporting us at the $15 a month tier. If you want to really just help us bang out some good content, $15 a month, you can be a Super Gamer producer. We very much appreciate those folks who are Patreon producers. You guys are awesome and have given us some great ideas over the years, and we appreciate it. So thank you very much for all the love and support to you who do support us and all the ones who are to come. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Go check it out. Last but not least, you can also support us by right here on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch account by using Prime Gaming subscription, and then you get a Prime Gaming sub for free each and every month. Cost you $0. We get $5 if you drop it on our channel. So we would very much appreciate it if you drop that free subscription on our channel each and every month. You have to remember to do it every month because it doesn't automatically re-up. But head over to twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys. Drop us that free sub. We'd very much appreciate it. Help support the channel, and you get some cool emotes with Adrian's face, my face, JJ's face, which you don't get to see very often. So if you miss JJ's face, support us on Twitch. You can use his emote all the time. Thank you very much to all you who support us, and I think it's time we move on to the rest of the show. All right, Adrian, it's that time of the show where I have been given this task from the heavens from the
You
Lord.
made it there. You were struggling a little bit.
From
but
our Lord God Jesus Christ. He's told me that I have to. I don't have any choice in the matter, or else he'll smite me down. I need to ask you, what you playing?
Well, if the good Lord wants to know, I guess who am I to oppose? Okay,
I'm sorry. I just try to like. The joke always used to be like I was legally obligated. I'm just trying to expand on that joke. That's all. Maybe
this is it though. You reached the ceiling. There's
I know.
nothing else.
I kind of went all out on this one. I don't really have much to grow after this. So maybe the bit just ended there. I just killed the bit.
Right.
So there we go. Hophead in the chat says, "Wow." Yeah, Jesus Christ wants to know what you're playing, Adrian.
That's it. You're done. You gotta make up a new bit. Now you got a week.
He says,
you gotta figure out a new bit in a week.
He says, "What a faithful messenger." Anything for my
a real Moses
Jesus.
over here. Wow. I have been playing more of Sea of Stars. It is still a fantastic game. I can definitely see it making its way into my top 5 this year. I'm probably about maybe 10 hours in or so. It's not a very long game from what I hear, but from what I've played, it's been fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. If you love classic JRPGs, this is a love letter to them, and it's one of the actual good ones. It doesn't just feel like somebody's trying to ape those old games. It feels like they took what worked from those games, they learned the lessons, and they made their own thing, which is a new thing and an homage at the same time.
It's awesome.
I have also
Eddie says in the chat, I think I'll tackle Sea of Stars next. So I think you
do it.
You hooked Adrian, hooked Eddie.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then the other thing I've been playing is Crypt of the Necrodancer. I get an urge for some reason to play that game every so often.
Awesome.
And it's right on Vita, so I just pick up the Vita real quick, and I don't know, I get sucked into it, and I just do run after run after run until I'm able to beat it. It's a great game, but sometimes I just get sucked into it for a while, and I'm deep into it right now. It's got its hooks in me, maybe once every other year, I feel like, and this is that time period. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I've never played Crypt of the Necrodancer. I've only played the Zelda one, which is, what was that called?
Cadence of Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah.
So yeah,
very good.
It's the original game that's
one,
only
right?
about cadence, right?
Right. Eddie, he did come back and say, I was going to go all in on Starfield, but I really can only sink my teeth into my Switch right now based on my schedule.
Sea of Stars.
And to be honest,
Sea of Stars better.
Starfield just isn't so I was talking with a buddy.
It's not fun. It's not. I'm sorry.
I was talking with a buddy over the weekend who's a die-hard Bethesda fan. He's
I love Bethesda.
He's he's one of those who Skyrim's his favorite game of all time. Those people, and he loves Fallout games, all that. And he was like, dude, I booted up Starfield. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh no. Because even me and Adrian, we like Bethesda games, but we're not necessarily We're not necessarily die-hard. So this guy is he's one of those who plays Skyrim every weekend and has for the past 15 years because he just is obsessed with it. And so even if that kind of person picks it up and is oh shoot, that's saying something. That's the first time I've heard, face to face. Obviously you see online lots of opinions, but knowing someone personally who's very into Bethesda games in general, and
this is their jam.
It's just shoot, yeah, this isn't it. He's thinking of dipping out. He ended up shutting it down. There was a couple indie games he played. He told me about them, like an idiot. I don't remember what they were, but he was yeah, I have been playing this and this instead. I'm I don't blame you. So
it's an indie, good choice.
Granted, yeah. So that's the only thing I've heard about Starfield. Just to go on a total tangent right now because neither one of us are playing this. Is I feel like the more positive I've seen people on it online, let's just say, because I don't really know anyone face to face or in person who is enjoying it necessarily, other than
Nate.
Nate is loving it. But other than him, what I see online, the people who are loving it, on Reddit or on Twitter, it's people who haven't played Bethesda games before. And so this is their first one. And so they're like, whoa, this is so cool. This is amazing. This is great. And it's like, well, yeah, because this is a new experience for you, where for a lot of us, again, not all of us.
I've done this about 4 or 5 times now.
Exactly. For a lot of us, it feels like, oh, yeah, I've played this game before. I've played a game like this before. So that was just interesting to me. Like, I've noticed some people online saying that, like, this is my first Bethesda game and this is incredible. I'm like, that's, first of all, like, it makes
total sense.
That's quite a feat that you managed to go this long without touching it. Like, that's crazy to me, but then also great. Like, I'm glad that makes sense why you're enjoying it, because again, it's these mechanics were awesome the first time. It's just the 4th or 5th time it's kind of like, all right, here we go again. But anyways, back on topic. You were talking about the next game you've been playing.
It was just those 2.
Oh, you said, I'm sorry. Yeah, you were finishing up Crypt of the Necrodancer.
I guess you can kind of throw this one in. I played a round of Payday today.
Oh, without me?
I wanted to see what it was like. I never played it before.
Oh, Adrian.
I said game in the Discord, and you never said anything back.
I work during the day.
Oh, you could have said, okay, let's play after I get off. Nothing.
Okay, all right.
Crickets.
All right.
So I said, well, let me try a matchmake game and see what happens. I get it. There is a bunch of moving parts to that game, but I feel like once you get a good team and you learn the ins and outs, oh man, pulling off a good heist without getting caught probably feels amazing.
I was watching Kind of Funny play it, and they just kept. As soon as they got caught, they were trying to do the perfect one. So as soon as they got caught, they'd be like, oh, restart the mission. Wrote to restart. And they got so close on the last one they did. And then, like, right at the end, one of them accidentally put their mask on in front of the guard, and they were outside in the public. But the way the game works apparently is like, yeah, no matter what, if you put your mask on, whether you're in a private space or a public space, like,
that means go time.
It's go time. And so, like, they was like running out to the van. And all of a sudden, like, someone put their mask on. It was like all hell broke loose. It was like, oh no,
that's a heartbreaker.
And then it went from like, we have 2 bags left, we're almost out of here, to like, where'd the van go? The van just left. Whoa, like, what are you doing? What's going on?
I gotta watch that.
It was great. It was Andy, Nick, and Snowbike Mike. It's so good. But yeah, I am very interested in that game. I haven't been able to get a crew together, so maybe we need to get a crew in our Discord together. I always see Bumple Smash, he's one of our Patreon producers. I've never talked to him in my life. He's been supporting us for a long time. But
he's an angel investor.
Yeah, but I noticed he's been playing a lot, so maybe we need to get in Discord and ping him, be like, hey dude, like, let's team up and play or something. That'd be awesome.
Let's run it.
For myself, I've just been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I didn't get to play a ton this last week. It was a weird week. I don't know. It was just one of those weeks where I was very tired. So most nights, after dealing with kids, or working all day and then dealing with kids in the evening, I was like, I'm ready for bed at like 8:30. And so we just kind of watched TV shows or YouTube or something together, me and Trudy. But a couple nights I was able to play some more Cyberpunk, and I just gotta say, I've already said it the last, like, been saying it for a while now. This is my little nightmares, basically. Like JJ's little nightmares too. This is just like JJ's little nightmare. This is my little nightmares. Cyberpunk 2077 is a fantastic game now, especially with a 2.0 update. It's way more optimized. I've not hit like any bugs. So it looks gorgeous, plays gorgeous. The story is so good. I haven't even touched the DLC yet, but just the main game, I'm like, this is so much better and it's so good and I'm loving it. More people need to it is now time to jump into it. For all the people who have been on the fence or waiting for this game to get good, it's good. It's fixed. Go play it now because it is just freaking incredible. Like, there's no reason to not give this game a shot. I don't know. I
believe it.
I'm just loving it. So that's all I'm going to say because I've already talked a lot about it. So there you have it. Go play Cyberpunk. It's good. And I'm excited to, I'm really close to the end. I mean, I could finish the game now. I came across a mission like a couple weeks ago that was like, oh, if you do this mission, like, this is the point of no return. And I stopped. So I'm like, there's kind of like 3 main mission trees, I guess you could call it, or branches. Like on the mission tree, there's like kind of 3 main storylines that are going on. And I'm kind of completed the one up into a certain point, and then I'm almost done with the middle one. Or I might have just kind of finished it up, and I'm working on the third one, doing like all the Pan Am stuff. I'm finishing that up. I just have a couple missions left.
Oh,
So,
best gal.
So yeah, I'm really excited to get through this stuff because I want to try the DLC. The DLC looks so good. Everyone's saying the DLC is even better than the main game, which is crazy because the main game is great now. So I'm excited. I need some Idris Elba in my life, you know.
I'm so glad that game turned around because it was such a cool idea and it just wasn't utilized. Well, I'm not gonna say it wasn't utilized effectively. It just didn't have the time to reach the potential that it
didn't
needed.
give it time to cook. Just needed some more time in the oven. They didn't give it to it. And look at that. You give it a couple more years and now it's the perfect game. If you would have just waited like a couple more years,
weird.
It would have been great. It would have come out to probably 9s and 10s out of 10, but instead it came out to like mediocre, like what, 6 and 7s or something like that. Sometimes it was, well, depending on the console, some of them were just broken outright. So crazy. It's still wild to me that they tried to launch it on PS4 and Xbox One. Crazy.
I don't know what they were thinking. They should have just. You know what though? I think the team probably told them, "Hey, this is gonna suck on PS4 and Xbox One," and they were like, "Do you think we care? Do you see how many PS4s are out there right now? Huh? Do it." And that's what happened.
Yeah. Then they had to refund it all.
Right now, and then their name was Mud for a long time.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, that is it for the show this week. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you who listen. Take time out of your day to listen or watch our content. You can listen on podcast apps. Any podcast app you're using, we should be on it. If we're not, let us know because then I'll figure it out. But yeah, find us on your favorite podcast app. You can watch us over at youtube.com/supergamerboys. If you love what we do and want to support us, remember patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us over here, starting at just $1 a month to get episodes early and ad-free, as well as the Patreon exclusive shows. If you would like to support us and you want some cool merch, go over to sgbstore.com. Excuse me. Buy some t-shirts, buy some stickers, buy some mugs, whatever floats your boat. And we got some cool stuff over there that, again, helps support the show, helps us make cool things, pay for games, pay for lights, whatever it might be. Rate and review us wherever you can. We'd very much appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. That helps with engagement on YouTube and leaving comments and stuff as well. Make sure to watch, even if you're not watching. You know what I do sometimes? For like,
Lurk.
Yeah, content creators that like, there's kind of funny stuff. I don't necessarily watch, but their podcast, I'll hit play on YouTube and then just let it sit. Like anything like that. Like just, even if you're still just listening, you're not watching, just you go to the YouTube video and let it play all the way through to the end. Because while seeing that engagement go from the very beginning to the very end, YouTube's like, oh, this must be good because they sat around the whole time. So if you think about it,
sweet watch time.
So if you're listening to us anyways, think about listening on YouTube. Just pull up a browser on your other monitor or whatever. Just minimize it. Just let it play. All that helps. So think about it. Shout out again to DJ Trues for allowing us to use his music. And remember, we're going to be doing that DJ Trues Super Later Boys episode this week. Support us on Patreon for that. But in the meantime, you can support DJ Trues by listening to his music over on Apple Music and Spotify, which links are in the show description on YouTube and podcast apps. Find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
That is right. And that is it. So Adrian, do you mind taking us out of here?
Not at all. Folks, we are at the end of another beautiful episode. I think it was a good one this week. I don't know. I feel like we brought the energy this time.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
As always, thank you for supporting us in any way that you can, whether it be on Patreon, whether it be word of mouth, or, you know, just a simple follow on social media or a subscription on YouTube or Twitch. We appreciate all of it, and it does not go unnoticed. So please continue to hang out with us as we go forward. We are, honestly, I feel like we're doing better than we ever have as
Doing
far as
great.
like engagement
YouTube
is
Shorts, YouTube Shorts, doing great.
Yeah,
TikTok's
the
doing
clips
great.
have been going crazy.
Instagram Reel, not so much. But TikTok and YouTube, they're loving it. They're eating it up. So
We got it. Look, it's part
Baby
of the deal,
steps.
right? You got to
Baby
have
steps.
it everywhere. Exactly. So yeah, everybody who interacts with us anyway, we definitely appreciate you. And yeah, we are out of here. So until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Yeah, that was a good idea doing those clips. They go nuts. And then sometimes you get, maniacs commenting on your YouTube posts.
Always.